mean, we're already dealing with one of the largest, highest grade undeveloped projects in Australia, 43 million tonnes at 1.86% copper equivalent. So it is a huge body of mineralisation. A lot of that value there is actually in optimising more than finding more, but we're certainly keen to find more as well.
Hi and welcome to the Assay TV. I'm very pleased to be joined here today by Chris Stevens, Chief Executive Officer of Coda Minerals. Thank you so much for joining us today, Chris.
Thanks for having me here, Alice.
Great. Well, maybe to get us started, you could give our viewers a quick recap of Coda and its journey to date.
Yeah, Coda listed in October 2020, and we listed owning just 70% of the project off a resource base of 250,000 tonnes of contained copper equivalent. We listed primarily, obviously, to gain funding to go exploring and to turn that into a proper project with the appropriate scale to take forwards. Over that time, we've acquired the remaining 30% of the project, taking us to 100% owners. And we've turned that 250,000 tonne contained resource into 1.1 million tonnes of contained copper equivalent. That's over roughly 800,000 tonnes of copper and 30,000 tonnes of cobalt. In June 2021, we hit an iron oxide copper gold deposit in the basement. That led to an enormous amount of excitement, as well as we've effectively discovered the 5th IOCG on the Gawler Craton. And now we have two forms of mineralisation on the tenure. One is a more advanced, now PEA stage, going forward into PFS level project for the copper cobalt. And the second is the exploration excitement of this 5th iron oxide copper gold deposit, which is the only one on the Gawler Craton not in the hands of BHP right now.
Great. Sounds like an exciting time. And if we take a look at some of your recent news flow, you've recently announced some underground ore success at the Elizabeth Creek project. So how's the company optimised operations there, and what's the benefit in terms of cost?
Yeah, so we released a scoping study in March 2023. That demonstrated an economic go-forward project. One of the dangers of doing a scoping study is that people often see that as sort of the end rather than the start of a journey. You know, you've defined everything. So what we've been sort of really taking pains to explain is that this was really about demonstrating that the base project is economic and go forward, and that we have a mining plan and that we have a processing plan. Since then, we've been working especially on squeezing the lemon a little bit more on the mining plan at Emmy Bluff. It's a large, flat dipping underground body of mineralisation. And we released some news on the ore sorting. So this is a way to mine more selectively, and that we're just in the process of finalising some work on underground mechanical cutting, which is a much more efficient way of mining Emmy Bluff. The net effect of this is that we're looking to improve those study economics, as at the same time as assessing the exploration to take the scale up as well.
Great, thank you for that. And you just mentioned the Emmy Bluff, and the extensions have also been the focus of some ramped up exploration for you guys, so including the commencement of an MT survey. So what are you hoping to find?
Look, as I mentioned before, there are two different types of mineralisation on the tenure, certainly two that we focus on. The first is this sedimentary copper cobalt, the second the IOCG. The MT survey was really about looking at a huge area, 28 square kilometres, and that's technically saying, look, the structures that created the Emmy Bluff deposit are very rarely occurring in isolation in geology. So we're looking for another Emmy Bluff. There is no doubt that that kind of increased scale would be sensational and really help the economics of the project, taking it from a really good mid-tier project well into the realms of tier 1. Now, in terms of the IOCG, which certainly has tier 1 potential, we've hit this incredible thing. We drilled 21 holes, all but 3 of them were mineralised, and look, we had to stop drilling. It's expensive, but also we needed to understand our exploration model. And I often say, if someone can't articulate their exploration model simply, it's the time to worry. So we stopped, and now we can articulate that exploration model. We've put out some news fairly recently saying, look, we're now starting to really understand for the drilling and the context. The MT survey was part of that, but also ANT, so acoustic noise tomography, advanced gravity, 3D gravity forward modelling, effectively a whole gamut of geophysical techniques, which have helped us derive a completely new understanding of the IOCG. So two things in summary. The first is finding more of the Emmy Bluff style mineralisation. The second is working out what is going on in that challenging, exciting, weird IOCG in the basement.
Great, thanks. And do you see potential for an updated MRE for the project based on the results you've had so far?
Look, our primary focus is on the exploration model. The ICG doesn't have an MRE yet, so it would be a first one, but there's certainly a bit of drilling to go before then. With Emmy Bluff, then very much so, we are both looking at infill drilling as part of PFS, and then we have 9 targets immediately around the proposed mine area. And certainly with some exploration success, we'll be looking to upgrade that. I mean, we're already dealing with one of the largest, highest grade undeveloped projects in Australia, 43 million tonnes at 1.86% copper equivalent. So it is a huge body of mineralisation. A lot of that value there is actually in optimising more than finding more, but we're certainly keen to find more as well.
Great, thank you. And some other kind of recent announcements. In October, Coda and Boss Energy were granted 4 highly prospective uranium and copper tenements. So can you go into some of the details of the arrangement there and what that means for you guys?
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. We joined forces with Boss Energy. It's a much bigger company than us, about 1.6 billion from memory, but it's a huge uranium company. They were looking to explore more for uranium, but they understood the tenure was very prospective for copper as well. So to put it in context, we have 700 square kilometres at Elizabeth Creek. This is about 3,500 square kilometres of very much underexplored area in the Southern Murray. That agreement, we'll hold the copper rights, they hold the uranium rights, will allow us to reduce costs and to share intelligence, to undertake geophysical surveys together. So having a bigger company help us with that is brilliant. Ultimately, the end game with that, apart from to make discoveries, of course, is that with Elizabeth Creek, we are likely to be the first company to have a plant capable of processing this style of mineralisation. So more of it would be fantastic.
Great. And what's the exploration plan for the tenements moving forward?
We're just finalising all of the really administrative and early stage work that you need to do to get on the tenure. You've got to, landholder access, native title, stakeholder consultation, environmental surveys. Once that's done, then we will undertake geophysics, and then subject to that, hopefully drill and make an incredible discovery.
Great. Sounds like a lot going on. What major milestones should investors be looking out for over the next few months? Or
first and foremost is a study update. So I've talked about the mechanical underground cutting. We're still working through final cases, but we're now very advanced. I'm hoping that will be out well before Christmas. We're also in advanced discussions with a number of parties for funding of the core project through PFS. Once you release a scoping study, you've obviously got a CapEx number, and then you want to be progressing studies. So having the right partners to take that forward and providing a funding solution to the market is, it's everything, to be honest. So I expect to see between updated economics and a funding pathway forward, that could be a very material re-rate. On the IOCG, watch this space. We're currently finalising some more advanced targeting work, and we're hoping to get that out as well. So enormous amount of work over this quarter and then into Q1 as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Chris. It sounds like a really exciting time for Coda, and we very much look forward to hearing some more from you in the next few months.
Thanks very much, Alice. Appreciate it.